Well, hello there. Welcome to the stream. I like to start with my face now and my hat. So today I'm going to be looking at my code that I did in the last couple of days and figuring out whether I should make an addition to the stats and skills for scripts to say I have stats and skills. So let's check that out. This is not my code. This is from what we were looking at earlier. Yeah, welcome to the stream, everybody. Don't forget to like and subscribe and all that stuff. Jason sends lots of people, and I think I appreciate it. So Jason Wyman, thank you very much. All my videos are not from number 1. They start at number 15 or something. I didn't go back and renumber them. I should take some time and do that at some point. And Aaron, glad you like the troll. It's the only time that it's appropriate to troll on the internet is when you're using a troll. So, for those of you, I was going to start working on the inventory. I set the stage for that, but I had a thought, and I was thinking with the stats and skills, which is a mouthful, but the stats and skills, I'm gonna have to clean all this up and all that stuff. But with these, I was thinking, you know, one of the benefits here is that this is the stats and skills. You got the chain, a skill that you can learn. You've got these different mastery levels and whatnot. For a more robust example, you could go to the skills bodybuilding, for instance, and you can see the bodybuilding affects hit points max, which itself is another stat or skill, or stats and skill. And so that's how this works. And technically these will, I need to redo the math components probably, so they automatically do math and figure out what the final value of any stat or skill is based on all these other different things. If you just pass a list of you know, character that has stats and skills, then, you know, there you go. And the expanding on this is you got the items, and I mentioned this in the stream earlier, but let's say you have a bunch of items, and you know, a mace has stats and skills in that it can affect the stats and skill system, and in this case it affects attack and damage. So 3 attack, 2 damage. Pretty straightforward how you can set that. You know, and then we got this Giant's Axe, which has critical strike as well. So not only is it attack and damage, but there's a chance for critical strike. Whatever critical strike is, up to you. I don't know what it is. That's up to you and how you code your game. But the whole idea is that this is meant to set that up. Now the items have this by default. But what I'm thinking is, what if you wanted to create some object that has nothing to do with the game modules, and it also can affect stats and skills. And if that's the case, then I think I would need an ability to say I affect stats and skills. Rather than I have. I misspoke earlier. I said I have stats and skills, which is one thing that I should probably create, like a player character or something else might have itself stats and skills, and that might be important. But for something to affect stats and skills, these item objects do affect stats and skills. So I wanted to look at the item object to see how I would do that. I'm just going to close all. There we go. So we're going to look at the item object first. And this would be the same for the item attribute. But I guess when it comes to the stats and skills, what we're really looking at is what's the thing? It's right here. This is show stats and skills and stats and skills right here. So if I go back, I've got the same for dictionary and UID. So I think if I create a new interface for stats and skills, let's just try it and see what happens. So script, I affect stats and skills. We're going to load that up and load up. I use have dictionary. Remind myself exactly how to set up an interface. Public interface, and that's not a mono behavior. And I'm going to put in my namespace, and there's no using, so namespace infinity PBR.modules, and then move all of this up. Gosh. Yeah, it's all messed up. Okay. None of this, none of that. And interface. All right, there we go. Yeah. So what does an interface need to have? It needs to have, or the stats and skills, I affect stats and skills. We need to have a modification or modification level, and I guess it can't contain fields, huh? Interfaces can't contain fields. Well then. All right, well. I'm not sure exactly what it would need to have besides the stats and skills. Actually, Michael, the tree is an interesting question. That's what Jason Storey was mentioning. He had walked me through the creation of a tree for a specific purpose of finding out which stats and skills affect another one. And after being thoroughly confused by it and waking up the next morning still being mostly confused by it, I realized, for my purpose, I think the tree was overkill. Might not be in the end, but at the time it was. And currently it still is. And so I did it in a slightly different way. Yeah. So I think there's going to have to be, and this is getting to what Jason Storey was saying about writing the code in the intent. If I'm going to butcher it, but the idea would be there's going to have to be some method that says, give me this, or something. So right now, and by the way, this is going to be a shorter stream. I've got in a half an hour, I've got to get ready and head out and drive half an hour to go meet a person at a place at a dog and animal shelter. So got to do that. But heads up there, so it's not going to be a 3-hour stream. But what I wanted to think is, okay, I affect stats and skills. And then from there, what does that mean? You know, and I think that's where I have to think about the math now behind stats and skills, and it's going to be a bit bumbling here because it's been a bit since I've looked at the math. This is the old version, and the new version is these. So if I look at the old version, or the old version here, get final stat is simply final value times proficiency. That's still good. And I think what I need to do is make sure that that I'm doing it the same way or similar way. So, did we invoke you? Did we call the magic words? So actually, one thing that and I should load up a demo scene. I think there is a demo scene for stats and skills. Yeah. So I'm gonna make a duplicate of this and call this demo October 2021. And so there is a very simple stats and skills demo here, and I think I need to implement this in the demo because what I don't have yet is the runtime version of this. Right now, stats and skills are all scriptable objects. You can click them, you can check their settings, you can change how they affect things, you can add custom dictionaries. These are modules, dictionaries, not traditional ones, so you can serializable information that I didn't account for that's unique to your project, essentially. You can do all that, which is excellent, but these are scriptable objects. They won't themselves, of course, they're not intended to be changed. So we need something that does, that can be changed. And so let's just go straight into this demo game control, and we're going to make a new one. Just going to make a new one. So demo, we're going to make a demo player. Players. And so there's 4 players, it looks like, which is great. I'm going to load up this script and see what we're doing here. Okay, so we're also going to need a stats and skills. So this object is going to handle all the it's just going to be a repository of all these stats and skills scriptable objects. So we're going to call this stats and skills repository, and I'll rename this object similarly. Repository. If I can't spell it, then maybe I shouldn't call it that. Oops. So this is going to hold all the stuff for stats and skills. And gosh, I did this, and where did I do this? I already did this, and I want to copy and paste my code. Because I know I'm going to need a public or well, where did I do it? Did I do it in Legend of the Stones? I may have done it in Legend of the Stones. Let me pull that up in the background. Oh God. Yes, we're using that one. I haven't actually loaded this since I had the issue where suddenly it wouldn't load after I brought in from a backup, so it might cause some crazy things. But what I did is basically have a static reference to all of these scriptable objects that gets updated automatically when you click this, essentially. And so I just want to copy that because I don't want to redo the code. I can't remember how I did it, and I don't want to redo it. You know the feeling, right? My stream is the place to ask many questions. Probably not about some topics that aren't dev related or Infinite PBR related, but you know, sometimes, sure. Yeah, so I don't even know what that's talking about. It's Text Mesh Pro. Maybe I need to update Text Mesh Pro. Anyways, let's see. Where would it be? Scenes, Ironport. Was it this? Yes, it was this. Perfect. All right, let's copy a comment. What the heck did I do? All right. I'm on the wrong. What am I doing here? What's going on? There we go. I need to be here. All right. Okay. Update this. Update this. Oh, well, whatever. It's all good. Okay, so we are going to use these things probably. And let's see, so we need a public static reference to this object. So let's just copy our code basically. But I'm going to type it out so I get the muscle memory. Static, I'm in the wrong spot. Stats and skills repository. Static reference to this script. Stats and skills repository. There we go. Header required, but also auto-populated. And then it's going to be a public list. Could be an array, but list of stats and skills. I'm suddenly thinking like, ooh, do I need a second list, or does this list need to organize them by type, which could be a helpful way of organizing them so you can get the type without having to do like a link statement at runtime. So maybe I'll do that, but let's do this first. Let's just do the first of all, and we'll do say stats and skills. Skills is objects, stats and skills objects. Poll, should it be stats and skills or stat and skills? I've been using stats and skills, but it gets into that weird skills is territory, which is always weird. All right. We'll do a get, but this is the one that we're looking at now is the awake. So we need to make sure we cache this as the thing, and then we're going to check contents and make it just contents, whoops, instead. And then this is where we do something. What do we do? Should there at least one loop box in the list? So hey, I thought I did this automatically. I swear I did this automatically. Lost audio. Really? Can you not hear me? I can barely hear myself. What's going on? Huh. Test, test, test. I can see my audio. I can see my audio. Okay. We'll keep going then. All right. Thank you for confirming that, everybody. So I really thought I had one of these automated. And it was much cooler because it just did it. I thought it was loot box, but maybe I don't know. All right, I'll just rewrite it. No big deal. I was just being lazy is all. So let's see. So I think this is an opportunity for another interface, because this is not going to be the only repository. There's going to be another one for items, etc. And so ideally, this would be oh gosh, not here. I am repository. And can we create the interface? Yes, we can. And on this one, we're going to say it's going to be a method that populate objects, and this is going to have to take in this is going to have to be generic. So we'll see how I do on this one, because generics are still a thing for me, where I don't always understand them. And I think that's all it needs, but and then what we would be doing here well, actually, no. This is going to then derive from another one. So it would be public class repository. And that would be mono behavior. Excuse me. And that would be what is the repository. So that would have the missing member there. And then this would coming from repository. Okay. Would inherit from repository. Fair enough. I think this is going to be fairly simple, though. The idea is that we're going to be looking for all the objects of a certain type. And so I do that in my... Which one do I do it in? Object editor? Nope. I do that somewhere. I do that in the Windows, maybe. Nope. I do that in the custom editor module. Nope. Where do I do that? Maybe in the drawer. Nope. I can't remember where I do it. Let's see. I know it's at the bottom of the script, whichever script it is that I do it. When do I do it? Maybe that's how I should figure it out. Editor utilities. That's right. And also utilities, which are the runtime version. So I think what I need is to use the editor version, because walking through it, if I can get back to the project. All right. This can be an editor script. And so I can create an editor script for anything that's a repository. And so if I go back to my stats and skills repository, move this to its own stuff, and okay, now I need to make a repository editor script, and I need to move these into the right spots too, because I will forget and then it will cause an issue later. Actually, those need to be moved again, but that's okay. They're in a better spot now. And then for now, I will go to editor. Actually, let me do it right. So repository and IAM repository don't go here. Excuse me. They go into this. There we go. And then the editor version. Repository editor. There we go. And then let me look up my another editor. It's not this one. All right. Just to remind myself of the code. Okay. And we don't need these. Custom editor of repository. fix this. You've changed the coffee into the Peroni. Is that how you pronounce it? Peroni? Now I just think pepperoni. All right, and then yes, this is going to come from custom editor. Nope, wrong one. Editing the wrong one. Wait a minute. What just happened? That's not right. Needs to go from this. Or does it? Oh, I see. That's wild. Okay. What is the code for a custom editor? This is how I remind myself. Editor. Just editor. Well, that should have been easy to remember. Oh, put that in the wrong spot. Duh. All right. So, draw default full inspector. I had a draw default inspector. I'm in the wrong script again. What the heck? It was like amateur hour at the Apollo. What's the code I'm looking for? Oh, it's the override in on inspector GUI. Okay. There we go. And do I not have a draw inspector? I guess I don't in this version. Well, I thought I did. And we're going to set proofs, set bool. Guess I can do that. Draw inspector. Left check. Draw full inspector. And get bool. Draw inspector. Oh yes, I can. Is that better? That's pretty big. I can barely see anything now. Let's see, I'll expand this then. All right. So I always do that because I want to be able to is it not going to work? I would think that the editor script would affect this because it's of this type. Is that not the case? Because it derives from that. Well, this might need to be a problem for another time because I only have a few minutes left. Just to test here. Change it to that. Then go back. Is it just, what's going on? Oh. Did it? Let me retest because, I'm gonna close this or hide that. Because it might not have been, might have just been the script was not selected properly in Unity or something. Nope, okay. So I guess it needs to be, I guess you can't make a custom editor for something that inherits from that something. Which is kind of a shame, but I guess it might make sense. I'm not sure if it makes sense. So, how is the text still tiny? If I make it too much bigger, I'll only be able to see 5 lines per thing. So, all right. So the point what I was basically saying, this is why. So I can always open this up and just see the raw stuff. But what we're going to do here is draw a, the editor script is going to do our calling of the stuff in the editor utilities, which is going to be, wait a minute. Didn't I swear I saw that code in here. Was it not here? Oh, so I guess it's in regular utilities. Public or private void populate list, and Well, yeah, I'm gonna have to go. All right. Well, the point is that the editor script is going to do the population of the here we go, of this value, stats and skills objects, so that you never actually have to manually do that. This whole like warning, there are none there, it shouldn't happen unless there's just none in existence. Every time you load up this object, it should repopulate itself. So when you make changes, it will just repopulate and always have the right number of stats and skills, so long as you click this at some point. And then at runtime, you'll be able to reference all the stats and skills by referencing this static object rather than doing a search and a lookup and whatnot. And then, yep, so for runtime and stuff, that's going to be used for that. So I will be back tonight doing more of this. If you go to the YouTube page, if you go to infinitypbr.com, and of course, if you always want to support infinitypbr.com, click this See All Assets. That's our affiliate link. If you buy anything from the asset store, it helps us out. We get 5%, little kickback. So if you want to support us and when you're going to buy something from the asset store, that's a great way of doing it if you remember to do that. Otherwise, come to the page and check out our assets. But while you're at Infinity PBR, you can go to YouTube, which you're already on YouTube. But tonight I will be doing this again with number 33. I need to work on updating these images too, because I'm not drinking coffee right now. But we'll do number 33 tonight, which will be a continuation of right now. Most likely in the middle of now and then, I will do more of this stuff, and it will be further along than what it is right now. But we'll keep going. The goal is to get the runtime version working, and then once we get the runtime version working, with that, we'll probably have the use case for the eye effect stats and skills. And that's going to be important because lots of things could affect stats and skills in your game. It could be anything from a trap to an NPC to a potion, any system that you want to build that the modules doesn't have for you already, you should be able to build. That's the whole point of the game modules. So yeah, that's what we're going to be doing next. So thanks for all for joining. Sorry this was such a short one, but yeah. And thanks for the tips, Jason. Editors work because the thing being edited is serialized. If it's a generic, it doesn't know what type it is. Yeah, that's why I was thinking, because there'd be stuff on the script that wouldn't be on the thing it inherits from, and it wouldn't know what to do with that. So that makes sense. No big deal. We'll figure it out. Thanks, everyone. Have a wonderful day. See you soon.